inside PNC Arena. Tonight's starting goaltenders brought to you by Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness, and Anton Hudobin continues on that run. 31 saves here on Sunday night, a 2-1 win over Nashville. Carolina's team defense right now checks in at number 18, James Reimer. For the first time since the middle of December, we'll get a starting assignment here for Randy Carlyle. Their team defense is number 21. We'll take a look at the referees tonight. They are Kelly Sutherland and Trevor Hansen, a newcomer, Derek Amell, Steve Barton on the lines.
Well, welcome back to Tim Gleason, and the best of luck to an outstanding Hurricane. And this is going to be an emotional game for a variety of different reasons. Both teams need these 2 points badly. Two character guys, Gleason and John Michael Lyles. So sit back and enjoy. And John, why don't you bring it to us?
I think I will. How about that? Enjoy this one at home, everybody. Carolina and Toronto, for the final time this season, they have split the first two. And right now, the Hurricanes are 2 points in back of Toronto in terms of the final wild card spot of the Eastern Conference. In the Metropolitan Division, as we cataloged in the Open, Carolina 2 points out of a playoff spot. James Van Riemsdyk, a tough angle off of Hudobin, broken up here and carried out by Carolina's Jordan Staal. He'll clear it all the way back in the Toronto zone.
I think that actually caught the short side post as well. And Van Riemsdyk, who will be an Olympian, he has the ability with his reach and also to elevate pucks when you don't think he can.
Cody Franzen now will clear it deep. Moves in back of the goal. Alex Semin given a shove by Jay McClement. A loose puck now. David Clarkson, who was a game-time decision for Randy Carlyle. Franzen caught by Hudobin, and we get a stoppage of play. Let's take a look at tonight's Storm Tracker.
Very physical lineup for the Leafs, and it's going to be one of our game keys and the proper physical energy. Gleason coming back to the building, you know he's going to be charged. So sometimes you have to take it to make a play, win the key battles with position and physicality in front of both nets. Stick with the disciplinary trend. Hurricanes have been staying out of the box to win games, and who has more attack zone time?
From that, we take a look at the Rex Express Care. Injuries and scratches, Rex Healthcare chosen for excellence. Little tie-up behind Anton Hudobin. Another break in place. See the puck right on top of the goal.
Yeah, I think that John Michael Lyles communicated to him that the puck was on top of the net, so he just leaned back. Old school, like goalies used to do on whistles.
Relax. Yeah.
It was beautiful. He's talking to Kelly Sutherland. He loves talking to these referees. People have been talking about you know, the fact that he built a Lego set when he was hurt. Take a look at John Michael Lyles and his numbers with the Maple Leafs, and couldn't stop talking to referee Mike Lego the other day, Hudobin against Nashville.
New Year's Day, the trade. Tim Gleason going to Toronto, 1-for-1 for John Michael Lyles, who in his 3 games as a Hurricane is a +5, averaging over 15 minutes of ice time. Now Tuomo Ruutu short-hopping James Reimer. Now the Maple Leafs try to get it out. That was Carl Gunnarsson, who was doubtful with an elbow injury, but in the lineup as we see. Paired with Cody Franzen. Forechecked by Alexander Semin. His pass detected by Nazem Kadri. Kadri hunts it down, and Toronto will escape harm. You see it angled all the way back in the Carolina zone, and this is icing.
Well, because Jonathan Bernier has played, 6 consecutive games for the Leafs,
right.
You want to establish a shot very early. And, boy, did this thing ever take a Plinko-type bounce. Very big upper body. Reimer played that very well. You see the way that he tried to stay as square as possible and brought the glove in, almost like an infielder playing a short hop.
Carolina has won 4 straight. Toronto has lost 2 in a row. Saturday night at home, 7-1 at the hands of the New York Rangers. Tuesday night, 5-3 at the hands of the New York Islanders at Air Canada Center. Nazem Kadri, as you see, hands it off to Nikolai Kulemin. Up top it goes. Mark Fraser, his shot blocked. Manny Malhotra in front of Anton Hudobin. And away they go. Drayson Bowman moving it by the rookie defenseman Morgan Riley. Skips right out in front, alertly covered by James Reimer. If the Canes win tonight, all Caniacs win. Get 50% off your entire menu price online order at participating Papa John's the day after Canes win. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
And Kirk Muller very early looking to get 4 lines involved. And Brett Sutter, who had an excellent face-off game against Paul Gaustad, and the Nashville Predators will take this draw. Not Lindholm, with Lindholm on one wing, Boychuk on the other.
Back-to-back situation for both teams. Toronto's in Washington tomorrow night, and Carolina will be in Columbus. As it just skitters all the way back in the Carolina zone. Ryan Murphy on the wall. Zach Boychuk. Cross corner dump in by Reimer. Getting to it, Radek Dvorak. Brett Sutter with a turnaround shot. Boychuk scores! Zach Boychuk picks up the loose change on his backhand, and Carolina is off and running.
Boy, oh boy, using four lines and getting production from the fourth line. And Elias Lindholm back from Sweden. First man pursuit on Riley. Support from Sutter. And then Zach Boychuk being able to get to a scoring area and settling it just enough to swipe it by Reimer on the backhand. What a goal, what a boost from the fourth line. I thought that Toronto was going to be guilty of icing. They waved it off, and you're not going to see three guys support one another with where they're supposed to be better than that.
Over the line now, Jordan Staal holding onto it to the outside of Dion Phaneuf. It will be Boychuk from Sutter and Lindholm. Along the boards, it kicks out. Nathan Gerbe now getting to it. Jordan Staal turning it back to the point. Brett Belmore, his shot, sealed off, the rebound. Loose, Jordan Staal for Brett Belmore. His shot stopped by Reimer. Belmore sealed off again by Reimer as the Hurricanes mount pressure.
And now Dion Phaneuf, who has been asked by his coach, the entire team, to compete more, is trying to somehow grab the momentum back with Gerbe when it's all Carolina at this point. The all-important shift after you score a goal or give one up. Look at that puck support there from this line. Jordan Staal in the middle with Dwyer and Gerbe, winning the battles, involving the points. And Reimer makes two excellent saves to keep this 1-0. But when you can back up a fourth-line goal with a line like that on the forecheck, it's a good start.
Face-off won by Nazem Kadri. Ruutu goes heavy on the forecheck. It's Skinner, Semin, and Ruutu. Joffrey Lupul out to center for Toronto, mopped up by Semin, and you see it come all the way back. Zach Boychuk scoring at 2:33, his first of the season. Brett Sutter and Elias Lindholm. Along the boards now, Ruutu in control away from Cody Franzen. Now it's played by Kadri, broken up here by Alexander Semin. Semin holding onto it away from Franzen, now down the boards. Semin now up top, given a shove by Cody Franzen. He goes down, and it's carried out by Kadri. At the line, they cross. Kulemin with a shot turned out by Hudobin, and it goes out of play. Well, Elias Lindholm has an assist already, and should he score tonight, he is the Moe's Southwest Grill. Hey, what do you say, queso player? Should he score a goal, all Caniacs receive a free side of Moe's famous queso and hot fresh chips tomorrow at any Triangle locale.
Well, so much for the time change. I think it's 6 or 7 hours, depending on the time of year. First man pressure from Lindholm, second man support from Sutter, and Zach Boychuk, who is finding his niche in the NHL. I think the best thing to say about Boychuk is he was a first-round pick that has had to find a way to make the league another way, and he's taking full advantage with his perseverance.
Now Holzer on this line just to take the face-off. He's replaced now by Lindholm. So the fourth line gets out again for Kirk Muller. It goes by Lyles, played here by Lindholm, loose along the boards. Sutter now a lead pass for Boychuk. Here he comes. His shot careens high, and he was given a rough ride by Mark Fraser.
I want to tell you, John, we're going to research it. A few years ago, Zach Boychuk had a big game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we traveled as the Hurricanes played on the next night. Where? Columbus. Wow. And so he has a history of playing well against Toronto. But the best thing I can say about him is let's get away from thinking about him as a first-round pick. It takes time for guys to find their niche, and totally to Zach's credit, he has found a way to play an in-your-face, a persevering game to gain this opportunity.
On the 48-game schedule after starting the season last year in the American Hockey League, it was off to Pittsburgh, then to Nashville, and back to Carolina, all through waivers, and that had to be a learning process. This is a player that's still only 24.
Yeah, and you know, it's my own fault sometimes. I'll say, well, that shows his first-round skill. No, just find a way to make it, and right now he's doing it. He got called up against San Jose, played well, but went down and continued his torrid scoring pace for Jeff Daniels. He hasn't taken nights off. I mean, it's a really good thing to see.
A loose puck as we see in the Leaf zone. Fraser now moves it back. Dvorak for Bowman, shut down. A great save by James Reimer. Moved along by Jordan Staal. Good forechecking by the Hurricanes here at the outset.
And now you have 3 forechecking chances, really good chances from 3 different lines. And you know, again, this is the product of being able to play even strength, which has been a staple for Carolina, and that's why discipline is one of the 3 keys.
Ron Hainsey did not take the morning skate today to the flu, but in the lineup paired with Brett Belmore. Now they cross. Patrick Dwyer defended by Dion Phaneuf. Hainsey now will steer it right back in the zone.
Now, it was so cold in Buffalo, it's not surprising. Hainsey had a touch of an illness this morning, but he is gutting it out like the true professional he is.
And Riemsdyk holding on to it this way. Phaneuf handcuffed by the pass. Dug out by Skinner, back out to center ice. Tim Gleason covering up for Toronto. Now Tyler Bozak knocked out of midair by Phil Kessel. Kessel goes wide. Tough angle shut down by Hudobin. He gets it back. Then Riemsdyk. Phaneuf's in. His shot goes high. Played here by Jeff Skinner. Away for Tuomo Ruutu, and out they go.
Boy, the weak side point man jumping in. Phaneuf has that dimension. He creates a turnover there.
And transition. Bozak for Kessel. Fended off by Hudobin.
Those are 2 excellent plays from Captain Dion Phaneuf. Jumping in from the weak side point for a good chance and then causing the turnover.
Now Brett Sutter is nullified on the way back by Joffrey Lupul. Heading to it is Cody Franson, and out they come. Rink wide pass. Lupul again. Joffrey Lupul between the wickets of Andrej Sekera. Now Carolina's Brett Sutter away for Zach Boychuk, and out they go. Through the center zone. It's all the way back. In Toronto ice, Carl Gunnarsson is on it. Carolina changing on the fly. Broken up by Boychuk. Manny Malhotra goes deep. Gunnarsson, a good look at him. He'll play it along the boards. A little spin. Franson moves it. Gets it back. A loose play. Malhotra denied. The rebound. Reimer makes the save on Drayson Bowman. And a penalty is being called. A great start for the Hurricanes. Out shooting Toronto 7-2. Leading 1-0. Hurricanes will pad their good start with a power play now. Nikolai Kulemin for hooking.
Well, it's going to be Nikolai Kulemin, who is heading to the Olympics as a member of Team Russia. We'll see 4 members of Team Russia tomorrow in Columbus. Let's watch for it. Drayson Bowman with his work. Going after that rebound off of the Malhotra shot. Causes the hook. Oh, this is great to see. Fans come to their feet here in appreciation for former alternate captain Tim Gleason. Good luck to him.
Absolutely. John Michael Lyles on the power play, the player that the Hurricanes acquired in exchange for him. First power play tonight for Carolina. Currently number 26, both overall and at home. Toronto on the kill, number 27, number 17 on the road, but they were number 2 with their penalty killing a season ago. Shot taken, blocked by Tim Gleason, gained by Jeff Skinner. In support, Jordan Staal. Semin a one-timer denied. Good save by James Reimer.
You're not going to get a better chance than that. With a purpose, the pass and the shot from Semin.
Now Jay McClement. Over the line, picked off by the linesman, Derek Amell. Jordan back the other way, throws it across. Carolina will set it up. Elias Lindholm, they work it around the clock. Lyles this way for Jordan. John Michael Lyles holding onto it. Along the wall, Semin all the way across. Skinner dangling. Shooting one, it's tipped high over Reimer. Played by Elias Lindholm. Now Semin again off the body of Fraser. Right wide by Reimer. Lindholm. Net by Mark Fraser out of the corner. He reverses, but it's stolen top of your screen by Jeff Skinner. He'll set up shop. This way for Semin. He looks it over. Alex Semin now dangles back to the wall. Lyles converts to forehand. Now it's Skinner dancing one more time. Jerry D'Amigo is on him. Skinner leaves it there. Gunnarsson defends. It's moved by Elias Lindholm. Alexander Semin settles it down. Lindholm at the goal line. They play catch. Semin one more time. Lindholm. There's Jordan. Shut down by Reimer. They score! On the rebound, it's Jeff Skinner. And the beat goes on for 53. 2-0. Carolina.
That's as good of a power play as Alex Semin has had in a long, long time. Here he is right down bottom of your screen on the half wall, distributing the puck. He did everything you could ask him to do on this power play, and everybody else did too. Everything was with motion. They knew when to go high to the points. They knew when to go low, work the goal line. Lindholm gets his second point back in the NHL. What a start for him. What a one-timer from Jordan Staal, and Jeff Skinner scores again. Kulemin in the box heading to Sochi as a member of Russia. Semin, a big part of the power play goal. You wonder why people try to figure out the Russian Olympic choosing process.
We sat next to them on Long Island, so we'll leave it at that. Now Malhotra moves it back. Shot taken by Riley, caught by Anton Khudobin. We get a stoppage here with the Canes putting that biscuit in the basket. You can stop by any participating Bojangles between 5:30 and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning and say, I'm a Caniac and it's bow time. To get your free Bojangles Bowberry biscuit, log on to CarolinaHurricanes.com/Bojangles for rules and participating locales.
And how about Skinner? He probably, with his goal-scoring streak over the last month in a couple of weeks, he'd make any other roster in the world. And he doesn't feel sorry for himself. Big goal.
Don't be shocked if there is an injury. Skinner might get that consideration late. You never know. Some reports that he's on the radar in that regard. Now it's played along the boards. Bozak holding onto it. All the way across, Morgan Riley. Riley now holding onto it. Franzen this way. Cody Franzen inside for Phil Kessel, defended by Andrei Sekera. It's dug out by James Van Riemsdyk. He's tied up. Now Bozak out of the corner. That goal again. Skinner is 21st from Jordan Staal and Elias Lindholm. Lindholm has 2 points tonight. Scored at 8:33 on the power play. It comes all the way back. Brent Sutter gets to it. Bouncing one off Morgan Riley, and Toronto will survive as they get it back out. But all they can do here is ice the puck, and we'll swing it back. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts installment number 1 tonight, Trip. We'll take a look at Jeff Skinner. And in terms of goals per game, he sits right now number 4 with Alex Ovechkin leading the NHL.
Well, it's tremendous to see what he's doing. And what I like most is he's shown signs that I know it doesn't grab the headlines, but his game is becoming more complete. And truth be told, that's what kept him off of the Canadian roster, is they have players that score a lot, that play on both sides of the puck, and Jeff is starting to show that. And speaking of Canada, just my own view, I share Eric Stahl's disappointment that he's not there, but I also understand what a difficult process it was for the Olympic Committee. I just would have had Eric there.
Now in the center zone, batted around, Belmore had it, lost it, it comes all the way back, it's a foot race. Belmore pressured by Nikolai Kulemin. Joffrey Lupul now for Toronto. Back to the point. Tim Gleason, a weak shot blocked by Ron Hainsey, who attempts to get it out. And now it's carried here by Tuomo Ruutu. They'll further that puck all the way back in the Maple Leaf zone.
Lindholm playing in Eric Stahl's spot on that goal line. Now he's a right, not a left shot like the captain. Boy, oh boy, did he look comfortable there.
They hand it off. Brett Sutter shut down by Reimer. 12 shots taken by Carolina as opposed to 3 for Toronto. Now Brett Sutter out of the corner. Takes a hit to make a play, stays with it. His pass detected by Kadri, but a soft play. Now it's controlled here by Alex Semin. Brett Sutter, give it go. A loose puck. And it's wedged out to center ice by Nazem Kadri. Carolina peels back, gets the puck, and lays it ahead. Take a look at the shots that we just pointed out. Carolina dominating here in period 1.
One good line shift after another. The power play, even if they hadn't scored, generating a ton. John Michael Lyles looking more and more comfortable on the man advantage.
Now Morgan Riley orchestrates his way through center ice off a glass support. Andrei Sekera covered up by Mason Raymond. Knocked out of midair by David Clarkson off the paddle of Khudobin. He recovered on the rebound. Somehow off Jay McClement. Now through a screen it deflects wide. Product to Dvorak. Through center ice and all the way back, and losing his edge was Mark Fraser. Grayson Bowman off the goal post. And it stays in play.
I thought that hit the netting. That's the second time the Leafs have thrown a shot from a sharp angle that has resulted in a pretty decent chance. Van Riemsdyk earlier. The fans down at the end of the Toronto net, I think, thought that hit the netting too. As we'll look at Hudobin here, almost creating some more work for himself. Maybe wanted to improve that dazzling save percentage because he didn't want to deposit that puck there where McClement could even win this race. You know, he has such a good stick to actually use just the one hand and swipe it back in the corner, but I can't complain about anything else he's doing because he had one sensational week playing 5 games in 8 nights with the 2 in the American Hockey League and winning the back-to-back set in Carolina over the weekend.
He's won his first 5, which is a franchise record, winning your first 5 starts with a new team. Of course, interrupted by about 11 weeks on the injured list, but nonetheless, 5 straight. Now Belmore, Jordan, watched out by Gunnarsson. Cody Franzen gets to it. On the wall, Mason Raymond off the boards, all the way back out. Patrick Dwyer in control. Ron Hainsey, a quick up for Jordan, but it's offside. We get a stoppage. 7:55 left to go in period 1. He is the National Hockey League's first star this past week, and it continues for Jeff Skinner.
Back in Raleigh, the Hurricanes are up by 2 goals, but in Buffalo, it was 2 days of some wild weather, and the Hurricanes were stranded, having to reschedule that game for February 25th. Coach Muller talked about that experience, saying, we just told our players, hey, there are so many things that go on in a season. As pro athletes, you've always got to keep your focus. You always are going to be challenged. That's our Geico quote. And by the way, Coach Muller said he was actually stranded on a way to a game with John McClain back when they played for the New Jersey Devils. So he knows what it feels like to try to get refocused for a game. Guys?
Zach Boychuk bears in, and James Reimer had none of that. As the pressure continues here for the Hurricanes, little conversation after the fact. 7:47 left in period 1.
Well, after the game was canceled, the Hurricanes had to stay because of the weather in Buffalo. And to add salt to the wound, the fire alarm in the hotel went off twice at about 2:15 in the morning. Siren was so loud, and Anton Hudobin texted his good friend Alex Semin and said, Alex, all the guys are downstairs because the fire alarm. You got to come down here in your pajamas. And it was a joke, obviously, as it was a...
Did he do it?
He didn't do it.
Oh.
But Alex was probably fed up at that. But whatever he did, he's had a great start tonight. And that was pretty funny. Alex, all the guys are down here with his fire alarm. You got to come down.
Well, you and I were communicating during that mishap as it comes all the way back. It was just one thing after another, and we get to go back January 23rd, and the game has been and now rescheduled. It was announced today by the National Hockey League that it will be played as the teams are resuming action just after the Olympic break. So February 25th, the makeup game in Buffalo.
You called it one of the toughest nights of your career.
Probably overstated it, but I was grumpy. Now poked out to center ice by Phil Kessel. Kessel gets after it in the center zone. Tim Gleason going down. The puck lay loose, and here they come now. Semin for Ruto. Stick save by Reimer out of the corner. Skinner defended by Tim Gleason. A steal. Jeff Skinner goes to work. Now Brett Belmore. Alex Semin heels away for Skinner, defended by Gleason. Ruto in support. Back it goes for Belmore. Off the end wall this way for Alexander Semin. Nobody home out in front. Dion Phaneuf has it for Toronto. Another good shift on the top line of Jeff Skinner, Tuomo Ruutu, and Alex Semin.
To be honest with you, this was exactly what I expected out of Semin. Before the cancellation, his morning skate in Buffalo was his best as a Hurricane. And now he has to play with a really positive chip on his shoulder, and he's been excellent here in this first period.
Well, Kirk Muller told us in Hurricanes Live and asked about Semin in the second half. He thought that mentally he's in a very good place. They had a nice meeting yesterday as that one deflects wide. Loose at the side of the goal, covered up by Anton Hudobin. We get a break in play. 5:58 left to go in period 1. Excellent start for the guys in their third sweaters tonight. 2-0 Carolina. Back in Raleigh, Carolina, with Tuomo Ruutu and the boys off to a 2-0 start. And he will be off along with Justin Falk and Andrej Sekera to the Olympics.
Well, congratulations to 3 very deserving Olympians. For Justin Falk, who's come up through the United States program, including the development program in Ann Arbor. Ruutu, his second Olympics. And anybody who's been watching the Carolina Hurricanes, those 2 players is close to automatic, especially Sekera in Slovakia. Real deep United States blue line, but when you see the access that the United States was granted, Falk really was automatic as the season went on.
Joffrey Lupul, Nazem Kadri off the end wall in the back of the goal. Centered for Mason Raymond. They score. Joffrey Lupul on the doorstep. And Toronto cuts the lead in half.
Well, that's the forecheck that the Toronto Maple Leafs and Randy Carlyle, their coach, are looking for. This puck looked like it had a chance at least to get out. And you see the Leafs outnumber, including from a pinching defenseman. Kadri, who had one of his better games of the year a couple of nights ago in a loss against the Islanders, was able to get it low. And using the back of the net very effectively from Mason Raymond, free agent signing, who had a heck of a start. He's been dormant in the last stretch of games. Finds Lupul. And Lupul has been one of those players, a goal scorer, that has gotten better playing under the microscope of being a Toronto Maple Leaf, and he gives them life.
Mason Raymond, who came as a tryout, has played well for this team. He gets the primary assist. He's now equaled his point totals from the 48-game campaign last year. Kuhlman, Kessel, his shot off a body wide. It went off John Michael Lyles to the corner. Phil Kessel sets up Tyler Bozak, swept along by Hudobin. Bozak off a body off Skinner. It's deflected high by Kessel. Loose to the corner. Bozak looks around. Tyler Bozak in control. Centers one across. Here's Kessel. His shot is blocked. Jeff Skinner in defensive position. Gets the puck through the neutral area and all the way back out.
Two key blocks there, as Toronto has a good follow-up shift after their first goal of the night. You look back to Jordan Stahl's line that had the good shift after the goal from Boychuk earlier.
The goal is Lupul, his 14th. For Mason Raymond, and now a chance, worked wide. Good pressure that time by Zach Boychuk again. Brett Sutter gets to it. Raymond and Kadri get the assist on the goal scored at 14-14. It was off the shin guards of Justin Falk. Played back in the zone offside, so we get a whistle. A full hour of Carolina Hurricanes hockey talk with our good friend Mike Maniscalco. It'll be Coors Light Canes Corner at the Backyard Bistro. The next one is January the 14th at 7 p.m. The special guest, Carolina Hurricanes captain Eric Staal.
He hopes to be back next week. Toughest and most competitive process in judging Olympians. The reason I think Eric Staal makes it is because when the chips are down, he shows up. I watched the gold medal game in Vancouver a couple weeks ago. I thought he was one of Canada's 2 or 3 best forwards, and I think there could have been some more loyalty shown for the injuries suffered in the World Championships, but he moves forward.
Now Lupul, right out in front. Fought off by Hudobin a couple of times as Kadri went after the rebound. Belmore now on him. Mason Raymond, this line again getting it done for Randy Carlyle. At the point, Tim Gleason off the stick of Skinner. Kadri, now Mason Raymond one more time. Winding it on a cycle for Joffrey Lupul. He'll stop and start on Hainsey. All the way back for Phaneuf. His shot is blocked in front, and Carolina will survive as they get it out.
A couple of really good blocks since Toronto got their first goal from defensemen in their route to the Leafs. Definitely got a big injection of life from that Lupul tally.
They look like a different team after that. Alexander Semin having an excellent first period.
Well, everything's done with pace, whether it be a one-time shot, whether his passes have had a lot of zip. This, of course, he starts the play as Skinner scores another one because the half-wall guy has to figure out whether to go low, whether to go high. And I just love whether it's foot speed, whether it's his passing, whether it's his shooting. If Alex Semin does things quick, his world-class skill becomes a true asset. Very few players have the mind that he does and the skills that he does.
Shots 15-7 favoring Carolina. Goals by Zach Boychuk and Jeff Skinner. Skinner's coming on the power play. The Canes are now 5 for 21 in their last 6 with that power play. Now Van Riemsdyk moving ahead. Lyles coming back, pressured by Bozak. Kessel centers one. Mopped up that time and getting to it. Manny Malhotra for Drayson Bowman. You see it come all the way back in the Toronto zone.
Well, you could do papers and papers and papers, college papers on momentum. If anybody ever figures out how you get it when you lose it, boy, that's going to be a priceless theory.
Kessel has some room. His shot turned down with a purpose by Hudobin. Carolina gets it back out. That along that time and wound deep by Radek Dvorak. A good look at Jordan Staal on the forecheck. He centers one across. Blocked by Gunnarsson. Sekera up on the play. A tight turn. They'll work Kadri. Stop and start. He centers one. Goes off Nathan Gerbe. Jordan's bit blocked. Delayed whistle, but they score! Patrick Dwyer gets to a loose puck. Carolina was going on the power play. Now they don't need it. 3-1. Hurricanes.
One way to get back momentum. I think the good dumping, because you saw that Jordan Staal was getting in with that horse of a frame and speed. How about Andrej Sekera? He's the guy there that is able to jump in at the right time, become that fourth forward. Net drive from Gerbe. You're not going to see better puck support than this. I give Andrej Sekera a ton of credit after a very well-placed dumping, a delayed penalty in the process. You see the broken stick behind the net. And that's the second dominating shift from the Staal Dwyer Gerbe line, with Sekera jumping in at the appropriate time in the game.
Well, the Canes get that 2-goal lead right back out of the corner. A continuous scrum. It pops out. In control, carried back out to center ice by Tim Gleason. He takes a little shove at Brett Sutter and now comes all the way back. Brett Belmore, 18 minutes gone plus in this first period. Shot 16-8 Carolina. And they maintain this 3-1 lead. Dwyer, his fifth. From Jordan Staal and Nathan Gerbe. As it comes all the way back iced in the Toronto zone. The face-off will occur in Carolina ice.
Smart player, over 1,200 games. The guy that starts the whole thing right here is Dvorak, because he sees Jordan Staal is going. A dump it should only be a temporary loss of possession. Here it is. Jordan Staal is able to win the battle with Franzen. Andrej Sekera does his thing. And you have all three guys that keep part in the goal.
Bill Kessel off the stick of Brett Belmore. The Leafs attempt a centering pass. It was Van Riemsdyk, and now it's played here by Ron Hainsey off the boards. Alex Semin knocking that puck down with a high stick, thus the stoppage.
Well, I just love the mental capacity there of Radek Dvorak to be able to even allow that forecheck to go to work. And Andrej Sekera heading to Sochi, decides this is when to jump. And Jordan Staal, who I think has had a truly underrated year, he wants to pick up the slack with his brother being out, gets the support from both Gerbe and Dwyer in the high traffic areas during a delayed penalty, and the Hurricanes regain their 2-goal lead.
Jay McClement now in this face-off. Is their top face-off artist. He wins it back. At the point, Morgan Riley, it deflects astray, loose along the boards. McClement in control, broken up. Nathan Gerbe for Carolina, and out they go. Through the center zone, it's Pat Dwyer moving on Riley, wide of Reimer. Gerbe out in front, off the stick of Jordan Staal. And he had Reimer dead to rights.
You want to talk about how to get to a goalie who hasn't played much lately. Throw 3 on the board in the first period before he can acquire any confidence. That's the way to do it.
I know. And they do play again tomorrow. We'll see if that does happen, if the hook comes out for Reimer and they go right back to Bernier.
They've moved him side to side, too. Reimer, ultra character guy, will fight his way to make saves, has that big upper body, but you have to get him moving, and the Hurricanes have done that.
They have. Lots of misdirections now in the center zone. Dvorak dug it out. It's cushioned deep by Van Riemsdyk, but whistled dead offside at the Carolina blue line.
Well, Jordan Staal is a left shot here. I'm surprised that he didn't try to play this on the forehand, not the backhand. He plays on the forehand, it's in the net. You see, Reimer, once he goes down there in that post, he's cooked.
Yep.
And Jordan, if he were to do it again, would obviously on the offside there, would just play it on that forehand, and it's probably 4-1. That's the only thing he's done wrong in the first.
Well, the Hurricanes have shaken off the effects of the polar vortex sustained in Buffalo. And they've gotten off to a very good start. No rust here at Altrincham.
First time in my life in those windy, cold conditions I've ever been thankful I have a hairy chest to insulate me. Like Austin Powers.
Yeah, the old human sweater. Now out to center ice. Fed along by John Michael Lyles. Luckily, this period will reach its conclusion very shortly as Cody Franzen is in control. These visuals are too much for the people at home. Phaneuf out to center ice. Off a stick. That'll do it. Zach Boychuk will be Chantel McCabe's guest when she kicks off the PNC Bank first intermission. Outstanding period of hockey. 16 shots taken by Carolina, 3 goals as opposed to 8 by Toronto, and only 1.
Carolina Hurricanes hockey is brought to you by Kangaroo Express, your home of the $1.50 dog and drink. By Moe's Southwest Grill. Welcome to Moe's. And by the North Carolina Education Lottery. Play Powerball with Power Play from the North Carolina Education Lottery and get in the game. Jackpots start at $40 million.
Second period about to unfold here in the capital city. 3-1 Carolina after 20. Now let's take a look at the first period stats brought to you by Buffalo Brothers. Oh man, now I want wings.
Well, you just came for Buffalo and you spent more time there than you thought you would. You still won. Well, Buffalo Brothers is that good, and the Canes were that good in the first period. And you may look at those hits and say 16-3 for the Leafs, but sometimes taking hits to make plays is just as physically dominating. And what an entrance back into North America in the NHL for Elias Lindholm.
He was outstanding in that tournament, and he had a feel for he and his teammates. Losing in overtime, a game that was just 50-50. It had to end somewhere. Finland did an outstanding job. They were the favorites. Team Sweden in their native land, a returning team of veterans, but outstanding job and a great experience as he continues his development.
And it's going to serve him so well to play under that type of pressure in your own country as the Swedes did, to get over that type of disappointment and to have a good first period back in the NHL tells you that there's some depth to his mental toughness.
John Forsland, Trip Tracy, Chantel McCabe at ice level, along with our fine crew here at PNC Arena. Jordan Stahl for Nathan Gerby. Good sweep check by Cody Franzen. Franzen in control off the stick of Van Riemsdyk, who knocks it out of midair. Plays catch with Phil Kessel, sends it back of the goal. And now Carl Gunnarsson. Turning stick of Phil Kessel. Kessel holding on to it all the way across for Franzen. Tipped wide by Gunnarsson. He gets after it. Jeff Skinner. Broken up by Toronto's Tyler Bozak. James Van Riemsdyk centers one off a couple of sticks. Loose and back of the goal. They get to it again. Grinding is Bozak. Now Kessel. Out in front, swept but not out by Belmore. Bozak off Hudobin. Loose and back of the goal. Carolina, a hard time getting it out. Mark Fraser, broken up in the back check by Jeff Skinner, and now they finally do.
Hainsey missed the morning skate with some type of an illness. Belmore still very young. They've had a tough time so far in their own end. I think it'll be important for Dave Lewis to find the right matchups for those two.
Jerry D'Amigo on Andrei Sekera. Tuomo Ruutu defended by Nikolai Kulemin. He'll punch it deep. Sekera looking around. Get along the boards. Jay McClement for Toronto. Holding onto that puck. McClement now will circle. Get a shot off. Blocked on the way through. Skinner tries to clear. Not out. It's Tim Gleason. Inside it goes. They center again for McClement. And it's knocked down at the defense. Toronto now much better start for their second period. Left to the corner. McClement gets in the way. Sekera one more time around the boards by Gleason. They ice the puck in this scenario and will swing it all the way back in the Carolina zone.
You got to take your time out right here. Brett Belmore has been on the ice as the weak side defenseman. Long second period change for almost 2 minutes. He is absolutely exhausted. And Skinner's taking the face off. You got to take your time out right here. I truly believe that. With Skinner taking the draw and Belmore as tired as he is.
Puck is dropped. To the point it goes. Morgan Riley. Played by Jeff Skinner. Captured by Andrei Sekera. And he'll move it out. In the center zone, Lupul. Broken up by Belmore. He'll try and get it ahead. And they have a partial change in the works here.
But Belmore's the key guy. He's the furthest from the bench. He still can't get up. Maybe he will here.
Drayson Bowman over the line on the off wing. His shot off a body off Morgan Riley. Getting to it. Was Lupul, but then was poked deep. Carl Gunnarsson for Morgan Riley. Right on the tape and out, it's Joffrey Lupul. He has Toronto's goal. Mason Raymond with a shot. Snared by Anton Hudobin.
Boy, that was a good save there with his glove. And Belmore, let's see how long it takes him to Looks like his lung capacity's already recovered pretty well. He was as tired. I can't imagine what those legs feel like. And fans, when I say the weak side defenseman, long second period change, he cannot get off unless that puck gets deep in the Toronto end. Because even if he's tired, if he does, he's allowing a breakaway oftentimes up the ice.
Nazem Kadri on the draw, won by Brett Sutter. Loose along the boards. John Michael Lyles paired with Ryan Murphy, who has it. He'll snap it around the boards. Back out through center. Is by Mark Fraser, comes all the way back. And now Fraser in back of James Reimer. Wedged along by Colton Orr. Nazem Kadri over the line. He'll cut, crisscrossing with Carter Ashton, who moves in, and Hudobin shut the door. Lyles off a stick. Kadri for Colton Orr. Out in front, Ashton is there on and off his stick. He's been red hot in the American Hockey League. He was recalled yesterday with Peter Holland going the other way. Now it's loose. Carolina gets it back out to neutral ice.
Heck of a play there from John Michael Lyles right on the crease.
2-on-1, Boychuk. This way, Lyles. He scores! John Michael Lyles against his former team, 4-1, Carolina.
What a play first in front of the net from John Michael Lyles right there, guys. What a job from Lyles. Good body position. That's what you have to do if you're not the biggest guy. Same shift, more of his comfort zone. Reimer gets across, but he can't decide, am I going to stay up or go down? Smart shot. As all of Reimer's momentum is going to the glove side, you never know, a teammate on a former teammate that Lyles maybe went to school on something he had learned about James Reimer. What a three-zone goal for John Michael Lyles.
He did go down the runway after scoring. Might be an equipment problem as the puck comes all the way back. Great pass by Zach Boychuk. Carolina with a 3-goal lead. Patrick Dwyer back out to center ice. A lead pass. Hunted down by Justin Falk. His shot sealed off by James Reimer.
So the Hurricanes are down to 5 defensemen. By the way, Justin Falk is one of just a couple of Hurricanes that have found a way to play in every game. Tells you about his durability. And, you know, the American-born defenseman on this team. Of course, Falk, as we've talked about, going to the Olympics, but John Michael Lyles is an American-born guy, as is Hainsey. I just love when a play starts with a key play in your own end and you score on the same shift. That's hockey, to use one of your great phrases.
First goal of this season, and first goal, obviously, as a Hurricane for John Michael Lyles. It comes at 3:39, and Boychuk will get the only assist. See us come all the way back, Carl Gunnarsson. Canes will be in Columbus tomorrow night against the Blue Jackets. You can see it on Fox Sports Carolina, starting with Hurricanes Live at 6:30. Brett Belmore's shot caught by James Reimer.
Let's take one more look at this transitional goal. Zach Boychuk, what a night he's having. It doesn't happen if Brett Sutter doesn't drive the middle, okay? And then the cross-seam pass from Boychuk. So his first goal as a Hurricane. So Bob Gorman keeps the puck. By the way, Bob Gorman had to outfit completely referee Trevor Hansen because all of his gear was lost by the airline. So Trevor Hansen, one of the 2 officials, is wearing completely new equipment from head to toe.
Blame it on the vortex. Now it comes all the way in. Overskated by Bowman, taken off it by Tim Gleason. Malhotra will keep it deep. Down the wall, Brett Belmore off a glass support. Top of your screen, Manny Malhotra. Let go for Ron Hainsey. Malhotra holding onto it. Defended by Gleason. Hainsey winds it, looking for a tip off of Boychuk's stick. He's defended by Nazem Kadri. Coming back is Mason Raymond. Radek Dvorak taken down by Dion Phaneuf. Boychuk, who's played great in this hockey game, for Dvorak. Given a shove by Phaneuf. Boychuk broken up and carried out here by Mason Raymond. Over the line, they cross. Here's Kadri. Trying to return the favor, broken up by Andre Sekera. Loose along the boards. Dvorak taken down. Kadri inside for Lupul. Off the stick of Sekera. Controlled out of the corner now by Mason Raymond with a tight turn. Here's Kadri to the outside. To the point man, Dion Phaneuf. Nazem Kadri. Risting one through traffic, blocked by Manny Malhotra, who gets it out.
And I think Zach Boychuk, you mentioned him, he's earned every bit of this because there have not been any peaks and valleys in his game. He's known that he's had to bring the energy every night.
Tyler Bozak. Elias Lindholm on the back check for Carolina. Bozak for Kessel. Good stick by Patrick Dwyer. Loose this way. Carl Gunnarsson down the boards. He's peppered by Dwyer. Bozak went down. Carolina escapes harm, and here they come. Just outside the line. Patrick Dwyer gets it deep.
See, you know, once you go from being a drafted player to a player that makes it, you have to make it in different ways, and that's what I love right now about Boychuk. And it's my own fault for oftentimes saying that's the skill that got him drafted in the first round. There's a look at the referee, Trevor Hansen. You can see how big those pants are, because those aren't his.
They need to be tailored.
I think they're Patrick Dwyer's skates. How about Bob Gorman and the Hurricanes stellar equipment staff with Skip Cunningham, George Alves, Dave Paul? They had to outfit a referee tonight.
Little room, though. They look comfortable. Sometimes that's a key.
Well, I'd like to have that kind of room after Buffalo Wings that you promoted earlier in this period.
Our good friends at Buffalo Brothers here in Raleigh. 6 minutes gone in the second period. John Tripp and Chantel with you as always here. Canes will be back at home Monday night against Calgary. Murphy's shot blocker down by James Reimer. In control to the outside, Gerby. Ryan Murphy point to point. It's Ron Hainsey. Inside it goes. Patrick Dwyer with a goal tonight. Gunnarsson is defending on Nathan Gerby, who lost his stick. Now it's wedged out of the zone by Van Riemsdyk. You see it come back.
John Michael Lyles has returned to the Hurricanes bench.
Good news. Now it's Dwyer. Inside for Jordan. Loose puck this way. Van Riemsdyk. Now it's carried out by Tyler Bozak. Elevating that puck cross corner. Falk is there. Jerry D'Amigo is on him. The rookie in a battle with Carolina's U.S. Olympian. Now it's loose for Tuomo Ruutu. Out to center ice. Morgan Riley will hinge ahead for Toronto. Wipe it in on Hudobin, who hangs on. 13:07 left to go in the second period. A great night for John Michael Lyles against his former team. His first goal as a Hurricane.
It's 4-1 Canes in the second as we get a look at Zach Boychuk, who got his first goal of the season in the first period. But let's see him at 4 years old. He said he was always holding a hockey stick growing up. Here's a look at him and his father's equipment from when Mr. Boychuk played at Mount Royal University. His dad said he built the family a rink in the backyard where he said that his twin sister would play in goal. And I wonder if she saw any of the backhanded shots like he served on that first goal in the first period. John and Tripp.
He looks like the Canadian icon and our good friend Don Cherry with the thumbs up, throwing into those knee pads.
Yes. Now Justin Falk. Back out to center ice. You're looking at Radek Dvorak off the blocker of James Reimer, Drayson Bowman, Manny Malhotra, defended by Toronto's Nazem Kadri. To the point, Sekera. His shot off the body, blocked on the way through. And that was Morgan Riley. Good save by Reimer. Shot taken by Justin Falk. Now at the point, Mason Raymond, a glove pass out to center ice. And we get a stoppage here.
Well, what a night he's had tonight. But he's brought what he was asked to bring. And that is energy. Get to the dangerous areas every night. Had a one-game recall against San Jose in December, played very well, but because of numbers, he went back down, continued to be the best scorer for the Charlotte Checkers. He has accepted the fact that he's playing on the fourth line, and he's brought an A game to the fourth line. And what a look to involve John Michael Lyles, a defenseman, jumping in to score against his former team.
And if they continue as they are playing like this, that being Brett Sutter, Zach Boychuk, and Elias Lindholm, 4 lines are in play on the front end of a back-to-back. Very important in terms of ice time. And again, Carolina for the second straight game playing without their captain Eric Stahl due to injury. Comes all the way back.
What a smart play there by Boychuk. Forecheck coming for Toronto. That's a key play. That'll go almost as far as making a key offensive play with Kirk Muller and John McLean running the forwards.
Now Brett Belmore. Off the stick of Bozak. Van Riemsdyk centers one. Nobody home out in front. Good back check. It was Boychuk on the spot. And it comes all the way back. Mark Fraser coming down hard that time on Lindholm as the Leafs peel back.
And Fraser trying to get Belmore to fight. Why would Belmore fight up 4-1? But he tried to get him to do it all the way back up the ice.
Ron Hainsey, a stretch pass. Chipped in, right on. Caught by Reimer. Little chip by Nathan Gerby.
And Carlisle has clearly decided to go with Reimer
Ride it out. That's right. They're in Washington tomorrow. Washington playing tonight at Tampa Bay. Back to the point. Goes by Cody Franzen. Getting to it, Nathan Gerby. Good job by Franzen. Better job by Gerby, fighting him off. Protected by Franzen, not out. Lyles inside for Dwyer. He'll move on Mark Fraser, holding onto it. Patrick Dwyer in control. Ryan Murphy with a wrister caught by Reimer. We get a stoppage.
This is paying it forward. John Michael Lyles' first roommate in Colorado was Hall of Famer Joe Sakic. I was talking to Morgan Riley this morning, and he went out of his way to tell me how much John Michael Lyles helped him as a teammate. And when you're a veteran player and you have a young player that's going to be a great player like Riley, maybe taking your job, the fact that you still have the unselfish nature to help him in whatever, in any way possible, tells you of a true good guy.
And Lyles, like Mel Holtra, spent time in the American Hockey League this season, and the same person played at that level that plays at this level in terms of character. And the importance for that attitude when you're a seasoned National Hockey Leaguer and you go down to the American Hockey League.
And you know how important it is to teach lessons when it might actually hurt you as you teach them.
That's right. Now Kadri losing control. They go D to D. Sekera getting it from Justin Falk. He'll dump it in, and it careens out of play, so another break here. The Carolina Ale House is the spot for cool bars. The next one will be January 21st in Concord. The Canes will be at the Philadelphia Flyers. Log on to CarolinaHurricanes.com for details.
Wow, about those Philadelphia Flyers, the way they are playing. Metropolitan Division, everybody is playing better. Nobody's been playing better than that guy, Jeff Skinner, and Jordan Staal. What a night he's had through two periods. Again, no Eric Staal. Look at the depth through the middle of the ice and the contributions.
Eric was in the room this morning, addressed the media a bit as it goes astray. Jordan Staal on the back check on Tyler Bozak, but a penalty is being called out in front.
Jordan Staal's positioning is not what's called because he did it legally. It's the goaltender interference because Jordan's there from Bozak that draws the goaltender interference call. And it's the use of that free hand. He might have been trying to actually get out of the way, but the optics of it weren't very good.
Yep.
And Bozak, free agent signing several years ago out of Colorado College in Denver. And boy, did he ever, his first game back from injury, a couple days after Christmas, play well against Carolina. An underrated top centerman.
Well, he's been hot since coming back. I think he got points in his last 8 games. They need him down the middle, there's no doubt. But he did not make enough of an attempt to get out of the way of the goaltender. So he interferes with Anton Hudobin. Carolina, their second power play. Just about halfway through this one. Out of the corner. It pops out. Jordan. Skate the stick. Lyles. His shot goes wide. Getting to it is Alex Semin. John Michael Lyles. One-timer Skinner. Good save by Reimer. Toronto now will get it back out to center. You're looking at Jay McClement with a back heat from Jeff Skinner. McClement holding onto it. He's an excellent penalty killer. He's taken off the puck by Lyles, and Carolina transitions.
Heck of an effort there from Skinner getting back and doing so without taking a penalty.
Along the boards, Jordan Staal locates the puck. Unattainable pass as we see it comes all the way back out. See the time left in the power play. See what Toronto's penalty killing has done over the last 12. Outside the line, Semin. Inside it goes. It pops out. Swept out of the zone by Mark Fraser.
By the way, with the polar vortex, Ron Francis, Jim Rutherford elected to have Elias Lindholm come back to Raleigh from Sweden, not directly to Buffalo where he was originally supposed to go. Clearly the rest was a solid decision.
We wouldn't have found him in Buffalo now. Falk over the line. Inside it goes. But up on Falk. Cleared out of the zone by Nikolai Kulemin.
I mean, you and I are sitting right next to each other. If we had a booth camera in Buffalo, we wouldn't be able to see each other. That's how bad the visibility was.
It's not an exaggeration. I've never seen anything like it. It rolls in on James Reimer. He'll melt it down and get a face-off in his own zone.
I mean, the plane, when we landed in Buffalo before the game, the day before the game, it was truly a mechanical landing. We didn't see the ground until we heard the wheels touch. Look at Lindholm with the fresh energy, the confidence from the World Junior Championship, win this battle to gain possession, and then all of a sudden the power play can go to work, and boy, Lyles just missed on that shot.
The numbers for Carolina's 5th overall pick this past June. Elias Lindholm, 19 years of age. He's back out for Kuhlman with a bit of a step here. Sekera gets back. Back checking Justin Falk. Good job on Kuhlman. Now through center, Jeff Skinner 10-2 with those skates to the outside of Fraser. Mark Fraser gets back. Ruutu tries a drop pass that was detected. As the power play is now over, Bozak is back on the ice. A Hurricane knocked down out in front, and another penalty is called. We'll tell you about it when we come back. 8:18 left to go in the second period. Carolina 4 and Toronto 1.
Back in the second, it's 4-1 Canes. I'm with Coach John McLean. What have you liked about the Hurricanes game so far against the Leafs in your final meeting this season?
We've had some good energy here tonight, which is good. We've been getting the pucks up. We got a lot of momentum going. The guys kept playing, and everything seems to be, the rest actually missing that last game's kind of helped us. We have a lot of energy, and the rest has done as well. And hopefully we keep it going in the rest of the game.
Good to hear.
Thanks.
John McLean had a lot of energy, too.
Well, great focus by Johnny. Now the shot blocked on the way through. We'll get to it after the important stuff. Now Semin to the outside. Lyles moving along for Jeff Skinner. Off the stick of Tyler Bozak. And the Leafs back out to center ice.
Well, as a coaching staff, when you've won 4 in a row and you're searching for your 5th consecutive win, you're going to have that type of very fine, jovial energy, and the Hurricanes have been pretty darn good through half of this one.
Well, Kirk Muller was the co-star in that interview. You could hear him loud and clear. Now Skinner. The give back. Jeff Skinner from the wall. Drawing a defender, Jerry D'Amigo. A good job on him. Kuhlman has it. It's a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Short-handed. D'Amigo off the body of John Michael Lyles, and Alexander Semin has it for Carolina.
Boy, John Michael Lyles, he's really had a game. That's a key play. Doesn't have to leave his feet after Skinner turns it over in a tough area.
Along the boards now. It goes by Semin. Kuhlman for D'Amigo. Andrej Sekera shadowing him. A loose puck. Kuhlman has it. It'll drag. Good poke check by Lindholm. Kuhlman. Van Riemsdyk. His shot kicked out by Hudobin. Heading to it is Dion Phaneuf. Leaf captain for James Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk over the line, moving up on Sekera. Andrej Sekera sidestepping Van Riemsdyk, and Carolina sets it up again. Final push in the power play. You see the time left in it as it's wound in the zone by Justin Falk. Nathan Gerbe attempting to right the ship. He goes down. Rubbed down by Tim Gleason. Gerbe takes over to the point. Justin Falk. Gerbe turns. Shoots one wide of Reimer. Getting to it is Andrej Sekera. Now Gerbe, high slot. He'll orchestrate. Shifting gears. Back to the point. Falk. He hammers one denied by Reimer. Gerbe again. As Fraser's out of the box. Even terms on the ice where it counts. Carolina by 3. Mason Raymond will get it deep.
A good hit from Gleason, but so far in this game, John Michael Lyles has certainly won the battle of I want to prove that you were wrong to move me category.
Looks that way. 1 for 3 Carolina with a power play. 5 shots. Angled off the boards by Phil Kessel. Dvorak had it, lost it. Kessel gets it from Bozak. Tries to return the favor. It's loose. Bowman on Lupul at the point. Pitched along by Manny Malhotra. Gunnarsson cut across. It stays in play. Bowman to the outside. Sealed off by Reimer. And will step aside. 5:38 left to go in the second period. Carolina 4. Maple Leafs 1. And tomorrow night, we will venture off to Nationwide Arena, Columbus, Ohio. Canes and Jackets starting with Hurricanes live at 6:30 on Fox Sports Carolina.
It was the last game before Christmas, and I was incredibly impressed with the way Todd Richards' Columbus Blue Jackets came in this building, stuck with it, and won, at that point, a back-breaking game for the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes since then have proven to be resilient. Our good friend Jeff Rimmer, I'm sure he's getting the vocal cords ready.
Of course.
Bathrobe on watching this one. Of course, assisted by Bill Davidge. We'll see him in the morning.
Jody Shelley do an outstanding job of that telecast. Fox Sports Ohio is all the way back in the zone. So check it out tomorrow night. The back-to-backers continue for the Hurricanes. They have 20. That's second most in the National Hockey League. New Jersey has 22.
Bobrovsky is back, played a heck of a game in Madison Square Garden. Calvert, I think, has been activated. Nathan Horton scored in his first game as a Columbus Blue Jacket.
They won that game 4-3 here in Raleigh. They had a big win against the Rangers in the shootout on Monday night. Haven't played since. Kirk Muller's team, after taking a little hiatus in Buffalo, New York, coming out strong tonight.
Well, you have to give Kirk credit because you could see on the charter back when the team finally left Buffalo about 12:30 yesterday. If I read his body language correctly, he didn't want to practice.
No.
He wanted to be a player's coach, but he wrestled with it and determined, hey guys, I don't want to do this, but I got to bring you in. And they practiced, had a good flow-dominated practice that I think has helped their game here this evening.
Coaches call it a flush, and that's what it is. And sometimes you have to do it, and obviously it worked. Lupul with a shot denied by Hudobin, covering up out in front. Ron Hainsey along the boards. Held in momentarily by Dion Phaneuf, getting to it as Elias Lindholm, but a steal by Toronto's Joffrey Lupul. And Lindholm picked his pocket, and it comes all the way back.
He went quite low there. I'm glad that Lindholm came out of it okay, as well as the Toronto player.
Now Phaneuf on the tape of Mason Raymond. His shot wide. Cody Franzen. And Cerny went off a stick. Loose along the boards. They get to it. Mason Raymond cutting the ice in half that time on Radek Dvorak. It comes all the way back. A good look at Cody Franzen. Nazem Kadri throws it all the way across out to the center zone. In control, Carolina's Andrej Sekera. Now Dvorak looking for Sekera just over his stick. Getting to it is Jordan. Checked on the play, and Phaneuf will take over.
I knew Sekera was going to be a good skater. I didn't know he was going to be this good. I would have to say, aside from his passion, his preparation in a low-maintenance way, that's the part that I've been absolutely amazed at.
One of 3 Olympians for Carolina. Sekera through 2, and Folk. It's off the stick of Dion Phaneuf. Out of the corner. Poked along. Tyler Bozak in control. Toronto has lost 2 straight, and Carolina looking to build on a 4-game winning streak. Morgan Riley. First round pick will carry along. Shadowed on the way out. Good job that time by Patrick Dwyer. Here's Kessel. No quarter given by Hainsey. Bozak behind Van Riemsdyk. Patrick Dwyer takes over. Now Tuomo Ruutu, a long pass. Jeff Skinner, here it comes. And Reimer had the angle.
Well, let's pay off Mr. Malmo. 2 first-period assists. They're flying across the Atlantic Ocean. Maybe I should do it. Boy, heck of a fourth-line ship. Brett Sutter finding Boychuk. And then looking very comfortable on the power play as a right shot. The Hurricanes don't have a lot of those. He's won board battles. This was on a power play here in the second period. And just on his last shift, as Lyles just misses, he goes down low here, but maybe he just lost his footing. But thankfully, he and Joffrey Lupul came out of that okay.
Make sure tonight you get on the right plane, right? You don't have to go across the ocean. Columbus will cross a couple of lakes along the way, probably.
I heard one time a person literally got on a plane in California thinking they were going to Oakland, and they ended up in Auckland, New Zealand.
All right, now Lyles moved along. Coming across was Kadri that time on Lindholm, and now here's Brett Sutter. His shot wide of James Reimer. John Michael Lyles, who has scored his first goal as a Cane tonight, coughed it up, though. Kadri to the outside. He'll button hook. Nazem Kadri's shot sealed off by Hudobin. Loose out in front. The puck battle here won by Carolina. Zach Boychuk will send it deep and go off in a line change. 2:30 left to go in second period play. Toronto crossing. Justin Falk. Held in by Tim Gleason for Mason Raymond. Sekera shoved off it by Lupul. Grayson Coleman for Carolina. Gloved down and carried by Radek Dvorak. Sidestepping Gleason. He walks and he centers one. Fanned on by Manny Malhotra. As Dvorak went right by Tim Gleason, and it comes all the way back. Let's go down to ice level. More on Elias Lindholm. Here's Chantel McCabe.
We know how crazy the weather was in Buffalo, but that also created a lot of travel problems for Elias Lindholm as he was trying to fly back from Sweden for the World Junior Championship. He said it should take him 12 hours to get from Sweden to Boston, but he actually took 19 hours of travel time. He said his phone died, so that made things pretty boring, so he ended up getting a lot of rest, which we can see tonight with the game he's had. Guys?
I want to talk to some of the pilots on SAS or United that also flies that Stockholm to Boston. I don't know if they fly to Boston, but pretty stiff headwinds to have it be 12 hours. But he has looked fresh as a daisy, Chantel. Thank you for that.
Now back of the goal, Jordan Staal. The battle here, Franzen sets up a man. David Clarkson, little used tonight by Randy Carlyle, and it comes all the way back. Now it's carried in the zone by Nathan Gerby. Jordan Staal. Gerby, tough angle. Good save by Reimer. Now Belmore. Inside it goes. Nathan Gerby. Jordan holding onto it. Has a man out in front. Never got there, though. Gunnarsson with a good stick as Dwyer was awaiting that pass. Gerby back to the point. Ron Hainsey goes deep. Patrick Dwyer away from Jay McClement. Gerby looking for Jordan. Now Dwyer. Dwyer knocking it down. Given a shove by McClement. They jam along the boards. Cody Franzen will move it back. Turnover. Dwyer again for Carolina. He goes down in a heap, and it's carried out here by Carl Gunnarsson. And finally, the Maple Leafs get it out.
Attacking zone time hasn't even been close.
Kuhlman running on Sekera. Shots are 27-14, Carolina. Gleason off a skate off Belmore. Kuhlman for Toronto. Tyler Bozak flushed out by Elias Lindholm. Left off for Dion Phaneuf. Loose along the boards. Semin had it, lost it. They battle for it here. It's Tyler Bozak. Submarine taken down. Belmore was there. Skinner from behind, and we will see. Tripping is the indication Carolina will be going down a man.
Well, first Semin and then Skinner had a chance to get pucks out. Belmore was also involved in the board battle, and Bozak did a fine job of keeping pucks in. And eventually, Carolina takes its first minor penalty of the game. There you see a good look from our fine production truck as Skinner's stick got lodged underneath the right pant leg of Bozak. But what a story Kirk Muller's discipline has been in beating teams in this winning streak that have good power plays to stay out of the box.
That's right. Off the draw, rolled ahead. Hurricanes get to it. Toronto's power play is number 5, 24th on the road, though. Carolina tied for 23rd with a kill, 22nd at home. Good pressure. Reimer caught out of the net. Toronto will survive, and here they come.
You don't see that in every snowstorm in Buffalo.
No. Phaneuf feeds it across for Cody Franzen. Dion Phaneuf this way. Phil Kessel over skating. Jordan Staal is on it, and he'll kill some time.
Boy, he has had a horse-like effort through 2 periods, Jordan Staal. I think he's right on the cusp of really breaking out with the habits he's got. Simplified two-way hockey, he's been a leader. 2
in the books here in Raleigh. John Michael Lyles will be Chantel McCabe's guest as she starts the PNC Bank second intermission after the break. Excellent hockey game for the guys outfitted in their 3rd sweaters tonight, led by Zach Boychuk. Skinner again in the power play. It's Carolina 4, Toronto 1, right here on Sports South.
Carolina Hurricanes hockey is brought to you by Raleigh Orthopedics. Go where the pros go. Raleigh Orthopedic. By Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness. And by Ontario Tourism. Go fish in Ontario.com. Get hooked.
Nice look at the capital city here as we get set for action. The Canes get set for the 3rd period, up by 3 goals. And tonight, for the first time, these two get together after swapping teams on January 1st. A look at the numbers for Tim Gleason now of Toronto, John Michael Lyles now of Carolina.
Well, Lyles now in a short period of time is +7 as a Carolina Hurricane. And for Tim Gleason, I think it's just all about getting his confidence back. I was talking to Dave Poulin with Toronto management. Poulin was raving about the character of Lyles. We know about the character of Gleason. We won't see again this year, Tim. Good luck in finding your stride in an original 6 city.
Absolutely. For 7 seasons, an outstanding Hurricane, part of the leadership corps, and he not only brought it every night on the ice, his contributions away from the rink were absolutely outstanding in the community.
Do you remember that street hockey game that you and I went and commentated? And it was Tim's wife, Candace, that I think received a letter from a youngster. an inspiring letter, and she asked us, along with Tim, could we go out there and put together the mobile street hockey game with the help of Canes Vision, and Tim was there, Patrick Dwyer was there. That was the type of thing that they did in the community with regularity. Just great people.
They get set for this third period. John Forslund, Trip Tracy, Chantel McCabe at ice level. Our fine crew tomorrow night. We're in Columbus. Canes and Jackets starting at 6:30. We'll swing over to Fox Sports Carolinas for that one. And the Hurricanes will come home and host the Calgary Flames for the only time this season on Monday night. Here's Phil Kessel through the middle. In the zone now. He'll move it up. Carolina down a man as we start the third period. Jordan Staal walks in shorthanded. He scores! 8 shorthanded goals for Carolina. That leads the National Hockey League, and they lead Toronto 5-1.
Straight line hockey, Jordan Staal. There's none better when he plays like this. Just straight line, picks the puck, fresh ice, looks off the pass to Patrick Dwyer, and absolutely lasers it on the short side. He beat fellow Olympic candidate when it comes to guys that went to Calgary for the preseason camp, Dion Phaneuf, to turn over that puck. So alternate captain strips Toronto captain. And Jordan Staal has had a sensational night, and that was a kill that the Hurricanes had to circle to start the period where maybe they could put this game in a comfortable spot.
Jeff Skinner in the box for tripping. He went off at 19:18 of the second period. That's 8 shorthanded goals for Carolina, their first scored on home ice. Jordan Staal, his 10th goal of the season. 5-1 Hurricanes as Joffrey Lupul now will get it deep. Mason Raymond in control, broken up by Brett Belmore, and out she goes.
I mean, I just feel like Jordan's game is really coming into its own. He's learned how to deal with not winning every night like he did for the most part in Pittsburgh. He's gotten through that, which will make him better.
Nazem Kadri with a high shot over the top of Anton Khudobin, who's seen only 14 shots tonight. Mason Raymond holding onto it. In control, Skinner's out of the box. Raymond, he'll delay inside. Kadri centers one. Forked high by Dion Phaneuf. Getting to it is Tuomo Ruutu. Deep in his own zone, he'll move it back. Hurricanes looking for their 10th win this season on home ice. Their 19th overall. Here's Tuomo Ruutu, dragging to the outside and wide of James Reimer.
And when I say that about Jordan, gotten over not winning every night, his expectation always will be, as it should be, to win every night. But he's learned how to move on and not dwell on a tough outcome, which will make him a better player for years to come.
Hurricanes started the night 2 points out of the third spot in the Metropolitan Division and 2 points behind Toronto in terms of the final wild card spot in the East. Back it goes, Morgan Riley. A deflected shot wide. It's loose this way. Moving up is David Clarkson for Toronto. Inside for Jay McClement. On this line with Nikolai Kulemin, forked out of the zone by Zach Boychuk. And here he comes. What a night he's had. Boychuk storms in. Good job by Morgan Riley going down to cut off the pass.
Boychuk batted that puck out of midair and caught the pitching defenseman at the same time to create that. I hate to say it because I've said we shouldn't think of him as a first rounder, but that's that type of skill to create the 2-on-1.
Now Carolina's Malhotra for Drayson Bowman. Turning is Jerry D'Amigo. D'Amigo to the outside, but Toronto was trapped offside. Coors Light, Cold Hard Facts, our second installment tonight. The subject is Shorty. Shorthanded goals, Carolina with 8, leading Boston by 2.
Well, after the Hurricanes lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets, where they had a lead late on December 23rd, Jordan Staal went the next morning with his brother to Thunder Bay. And he and I had a long talk because he was just disgusted with a loss like that. What I liked most is he wears that letter, being an alternate captain, with pride, and he's constantly looking for solutions, even if the first couple solutions don't work. That's why I think he is really showing signs to become a true leader, not his brother's brother on this team.
Calgary also tied with Boston with 6, and as we pointed out, they're here on Monday. Anton Khudobin moving it for Nathan Gerbe. Gerbe out to center. Jordan Staal in control, feathering one by Tim Gleason. They get after it out of the corner. Was by Gerbe. At the point, Sekera off the end wall, accepted by Pat Dwyer. Centered, fanned on by Gerbe. Getting to it here is Phil Kessel. He'll swing it out of the zone. Kessel goes to work. U.S. Olympian throws on the brakes, defended by Nathan Gerbe. Van Riemsdyk. The play read by Carolina's Justin Falk, and now Andre Sekera in control. And back out Jordan. All the way across. Gerbe is onside off the blocker of James Reimer.
You can see that the Leafs are really starting to try to stretch the ice. The Hurricanes have already, aside from the goal, had a couple odd man rushes.
Here comes Kessel. Moving to the outside of Alexander Semin. Off the paddle of Hudobin, who recovers 3 times. Tyler Bozak had 2 cracks at it. Anton Hudobin continues to get it done.
Well, you mentioned he's only seen now with these 2 chances 16 shots. And when you're not busy as a goalie, you almost have to have played the position or be the father of a guy playing the position, John, as you are, to know how tough this is. You want to overthink. Your body gets cold in cold arenas like we have in the NHL now. And so to be able to make those 2 saves and hold on, those are better than you think just looking at it.
Anton Hudobin has won the first 5 games as a Carolina Hurricane. That's a franchise record. Enough at the point. It deflects. Mason Raymond in control. Joffrey Lupul, a backhander shut down by Hudobin. Chop chance out in front. That was Morgan Riley. That was a block from the defense. It comes all the way back. John Michael Lyles can't clear. Enough for Kadri out in front for Lupul. Good back checking that time as Vanough's shot is fended off by Hudobin. Carolina getting all the way back. Radek Dvorak made the play on Lupul. Now Riley off the skate of Ryan Murphy. Morgan Riley broken up by Manny Malhotra. Underneath in and out is Radek Dvorak. And here he comes. Screeching in for a chance, denied by James Reimer.
Another odd man rush.
Another one, plenty of those tonight. Harris Teeter's signature subs or back trip come to North Hills. Harris Teeter at 120 St. Albans Drive in Raleigh. Thursday, January 16th from 5:30 to 6:30 in Sample. Nathan Gerbe's new creation, Gerbe's Top Shelf Sandwich. Get autographs, meet Nathan Tuesday, January 14th. Don't know the ingredients. We like to have the ingredients on these custom-made sandwiches. Harris Teeter. We don't have that yet.
I got a sandwich to go before we left to go to Buffalo and then didn't look to make sure it was correct. It was a bacon, lettuce, tomato. Only to make things worse in Buffalo, I got there, it was just a lettuce sandwich.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Skinner with a cut.
Disgrace.
Well, it's fed in by Brett Belmore.
True story.
And we get a break in play. Face-off will be swung all the way back outside the line.
Hey, John, it's becoming epic already that Anton Hudobin, to keep himself sane when he was hurt, built a Lego set. And I believe it was some type of remote-controlled truck or whatever it was. He keeps going like this, he's going to get a deal with Lego as a spokesperson.
Off the draw. Knocked down. Zach Boychuk will dump it in. Morgan Riley is back. Ahead of Elias Lindholm, getting control for Toronto. Jerry D'Amigo and back out. Brett Belmore off a body. D'Amigo swings it this way for Cody Franzen. Franzen now goes cross corner. Belmore is back for Carolina. Carter Ashton. Ashton now goes deep. Out of the corner. Colton Orr will move it, and Carolina easily gets to it. And just pitchfork it out of the zone. That's Zach Boychuk.
And these are the types of things you have to do when you know the defensemen are going to pitch. You have to be able to have underneath support coming along the wall. You have to take a hit to make a play and sometimes just pitchfork.
Out to center off the stick of Nathan Gerbe. Dion Phaneuf. Now Jay McClement through the middle of the ice. Kuhlman at his side. Clarkson back checked by Patrick Dwyer. And away they go. Dwyer over the line. His shot easily detected by James Reimer. 13:51 left to go in this final period. Carolina by a bunch at home.
In the third, it's 5-1 Canes, and Anton Hudobin set a franchise record with his 5-0 start with the Canes, but he was sidelined with an injury from October 13th to January 2nd. So what did he do? He went out and bought a Lego set. He got the idea from watching a friend's kid use Legos. It took him at least 12 hours to build this remote-controlled truck. It has 1,400 pieces. He says it's still intact at his apartment. He says he has another set, and he hopes he doesn't need to use it because he plans to stay healthy and in the lineup, and we hope so too because he's been playing so well, guys.
Well, it's a nice looking carpeting at his place too. That's better. say
thick plow.
asphalt or any type of road terrain that a truck of that nature would typically deal with.
So the crafty Anton Khudobin, making good of his time, his idle time. Injured here in mid-October as Belmore sends it to an open corner. At the time, everybody thought it was not serious, but those high ankle problems, you just never know. And it extended and extended on, and 10 to 11 weeks before he was ready to get back to action in the American Hockey League, and now this.
I never had an ankle injury, but every player that I've ever talked to that had one has said it's the worst one you can have, and it's almost better. This sounds strange to say, and I only have a T-shirt that says, "Trust me, I'm a doctor," that it's better to have a break than the sprain.
Jordan Staal. A drop pass for Pat Dwyer. This way it's Nathan Gerbe. Up top again, Jordan in control. His shot off the body. Blocked in front by Morgan Riley and dumped out by Van Riemsdyk. Ahead for Kessel. He put himself offside, and Carolina swings back. You're looking at Nathan Gerbe to the outside of Dion Phaneuf. He'll get it deep.
And Kirk Muller said he wants to really run Khudobin before the Olympic break. It's another bonus of this excellent team effort with just 18 shots allowed. And the canceled game in Buffalo, I would think it's probably a no-brainer that he goes against the Blue Jays.
A matchup of he along with Sergei Bobrovsky tomorrow night at Nationwide Arena.
Good hit there, Zach Boychuk against Mason Raymond.
Dead center of Steele. In the zone, Kadri. His shot blocker down by Khudobin. Moves to the corner. Phaneuf goes deep. In control. The puck is on edge. Settled down by Andrej Sekera. Gunnarsson coming up on his man. Sekera now attempts to move it.
Straight on shot. Very few goalies have the belief to stay on their feet like Khudobin just did. I mean, that was right from just above the hash marks, and he is able to stay on his feet and make a blocker save.
Out of the corner, Joffrey Lupul, Nazem Kadri. Brett Sutter is defending for Carolina. Lupul has Toronto's only goal. He'll circle. Pull it up top. His shot blocked in front by Sutter on the back check. Brett Sutter off the boards. Carolina can't get it out. Dion Phaneuf. Kadri this way. Raymond. Mason Raymond from the boards. Kadri cutting. Little backhanders blocked. A loose puck as we see. Cutting across for Toronto, Mason Raymond. Dion Phaneuf now tries to move down the wall. Broken up by Brett Sutter. Not out. Raymond turning stick of Phaneuf. It goes astray. Getting to it is Justin Falk. Finished off by Joffrey Lupul. Kadri. Now Raymond. Shut down by Khudobin. Dug out here by Dion Phaneuf. On a cycle for Nazem Kadri. Lupul pinned on the play by Justin Falk, and they come together. Push and shove. Here they go. Justin Falk. And Joffrey Lupul. Toe-to-toe. Now with the right hand, Lupul obviously frustrated, as are all the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. All of this with 10:58 left to go in this third period.
Well, the Hurricanes fans absolutely love it, but I can guarantee you that Jim Rutherford and Ron Francis in their box right now are happy this fight was short-lived. Because the last thing you'd ever want in an otherwise stellar evening is Justin Falk. Well, they're all chanting USA in the very fine Thursday night crowd. And they're not chanting for Lupul because he's a Canadian. And remember when Justin Falk, out of nowhere, his rookie year, fought Troy Brouwer? He can handle himself. So this shouldn't be surprising to you, but the last thing you need is to break a hand colliding with a half shield. And the team absolutely had to love this.
And they do, as we see here. Along with the nice crowd here on Thursday night. Break in the ice pack for Justin Falk. 5-minute majors for fighting at 9:02.
And for any Hurricanes fan that is saying, why does he have an ice pack? That is typical anytime a guy is in the box after a fight, because you've just collided with Lupul's half shield. Of course, players cannot take their helmets off. That's a penalty.
Cody Franzen reads the play. A pass detected by Ron Hainsey, and Carolina gets it out. Jordan over the line, crisscrossing, getting room to the outside of Franzen. He'll keep it deep for Patrick Dwyer, given a shove by Morgan Riley. Franzen away, coughed it up. Belmore's shot turned out by Reimer. Played here by Nathan Gerbe. The pass behind Jordan. Loose off the boards and moved deep by Ron Hainsey. Centering pass detected by the Leafs. Coming back was Tyler Bozak, and they get it out.
Hainsey's been able to get through, I'm sure not 100%. By the way, the Hurricanes have Jay Harrison ready to go. He is healthy. He's gotten a bunch of good skates. He's looked good in preparation.
Two healthy defensemen with Mike Komisarek. Gleason's shot hung on to by Anton Khudobin.
Komisarek has been an incredible pro and a great teammate, and I think he's played well when he's been in. He really has. Khudobin, I thought, started in a rusty fashion in the first period. I didn't think his stick was as good as it has been. Team played very well in front of him. And then he, sort of settled into his own game. But I think he'd be the first to say his rebound control hasn't quite been what it needs to be. But he's 10 minutes away from going 6-0 to start his Carolina career, which is a little thing called perfect thus far.
McClement now in the draw, posed by 19-year-old Elias Lindholm. It comes all the way back. Dion Phaneuf. His shot through a maze, blocked in front. McClement keeps it deep for Nikolai Kulemin. Kulemin up top again. Phaneuf holding on to it. His shot caught by Khudobin. Coolly, calmly and collected. Anton Khudobin getting it done for the Hurricanes. 9:55 left to go in this third period. Mr. Lego on top 5-1. The capital city. Triplets get an update on tonight's Storm Tracker.
Well, the Leafs have actually had more hits, but I think the Hurricanes have been more effective physically. I really do. And sticking with the disciplinary trend, Carolina hadn't taken a penalty until the last shift of the second period. They scored a shorthanded goal on that power play. In the attack zone time, Toronto has played in their own end more than any other team perhaps in hockey, and they've done so again tonight because of the Carolina forecheck.
Coming into tonight's game, they have allowed 1,603 shots against. Khudobin, good save on Kulemin. That's the most in the NHL. This is Dion Phaneuf behind the back for Jay McClement. He'll wind it deep. David Clarkson taking down Manny Malhotra. Murphy looking for Ruutu. Good job by McClement. Along the boards now Nikolai Kulemin. Pinned by Carolina's Ryan Murphy. Kulemin shakes free. They go point to point. Phaneuf shot. Pinballs wide. Getting to it here is Kulemin. Nikolai Kulemin. A little drag move. He'll keep it deep on a cycle for David Clarkson inside McClement again. Pinned up against the boards and checked by John Michael Lyles. Lyles now tries to shake free. He does. Play it along the boards and get it all the way back in the Toronto zone. Will it make the line? Yes, it will. But they wave it off at the last second, so play continues.
What a job by Lyles taking the hit to reverse sides, which is key when teams are forechecking with the numbers they are right now, and then to get it out.
Over the line they cross. Moving up here, Dvorak defended on the way through, and now it's carried off the boards by Mark Fraser. Broken up by Skinner. His shot pinballs off the stick of Fraser and goes out of play.
I like the fact that Carolina, when they've been hemmed in their own end for the most part, have kept pucks to the outside and then eventually found a way to relieve pressure. Look at Lyles eventually wins this battle here. Pins his man, Jay McClement, uses his right skate, and then as we continue, eventually gets it out and takes the hit. And that's when the Leaf forecheck, had something going. And you look at the positive reinforcement for Murphy. As we talked about earlier, he'll relish that role of passing it along. All types of lessons to young Ryan Murphy.
You can see that on the bench now. Kadri and Brett Sutter. Sutter is given the boot, and Elias Lindholm will move up. One by Kadri, and the line of Brett Sutter, Zach Boychuk, and Elias Lindholm. In his first game back from the World Juniors, and they've all played well. Nazem Kadri cradles along the boards to himself. He'll cut, go down, defended by Brett Belmore. Going to it now, along the boards, a tie-up this time as it's free. Van Riemsdyk getting back up. Defended by Sutter, out in front, batted along by Hainsey. Van Riemsdyk gets it back. Tim Gleason. James Van Riemsdyk turned out by Khudobin, and Carolina clears the zone.
And by the way, the Hurricanes had their amateur scouting meetings the last couple of days after their pro scouting meetings earlier in the week. Tony McDonald, their director of amateur scouting, is here. He has to be beaming to see, among others, Lindholm come back from Sweden and play like this.
Jordan Staal over the line. Morgan Riley. They turn it over. Jordan Gerby goes high. The puck was on edge, so he got underneath it, and now Van Riemsdyk back out to center ice. They take a hit, attempt to get it deep, but not deep enough, and Carolina, as we see, cuts it off.
Jordan Stahl's got a couple of points. They could have a bunch more. I mean, all sorts of opportunities.
Cody Franzen Carolina's changing as time. Neutralized Kadri. Pass behind Mason Raymond. They cut, and now they attempt to get it deep and succeed. This way, it's Drayson Bowman. Back to the point. Hainsey snaps it along. Out of the corner, Bowman as they grind a cycle. Drayson Bowman stays with it. He'll move it by Radek Dvorak inside for Manny Malhotra. He'll stop on a dime. Broken up by Dion Phaneuf, and now Colton Orr. Back out to center ice, 3-on-3. The tough guy leading Toronto with 75 penalty minutes gets it deep. Hudobin turned it over to Mason Raymond. Raymond in control to the outside. Dvorak is on him to the point. Carl Gunnarsson. He'll move it along out of the reach of Orr. Loose this way and coming down Bowman over skating though. Now Mason Raymond. He'll stop, defended by Carolina's Manny Malhotra as they attempt to get it out. But it's broken up by Mason Raymond. Malhotra again for the Hurricanes, off the glass and out of play.
And again, it's keeping the puck to the outside. And puck doesn't cleanly go over the glass. And Manny Malhotra will get off. He's tired. And so that is, being able to not have your mind be turned off when you're tired. And that is a challenge that you have to learn in this league. Because when Kirk Muller first became coach, when guys got tired, their minds were completely annihilated and they made poor decisions.
Off the draw now. In control, Belmore. Played along. Back out now for Nikolai Kulemin. Chopped at right in on Hudobin, who leaves it there for John Michael Lyles, delayed offside here against Toronto. Carried out by Lyles, out to center ice. John Michael Lyles now will shoot it hard around, getting through this Tuomo Ruutu. He takes a hit from Mark Fraser. Up top, steered out of the zone by Kulemin. A penalty will be called here. Brett Belmore doesn't like it. Interference, I believe, will be the call on him, and Toronto will get the power play.
But it's the absolute right call. As Belmore knew he was in no man's land.
Carolina number 73, 2-minute interference.
And once he was caught where he didn't want to be, you see two defensemen in the box. Only four are going to be capable of killing this penalty. He reaches out with the free hand to deny Kulemin ice. And that is a call that the referee has to make. And once the player is in that unenviable position, I think he has to take that penalty.
Leaf power play in the last 5, 2 for 13 coming in. This only their second tonight. Back it goes for Morgan Riley. From the boards, Mason Raymond. He'll set it up. Creeping in backdoor, Franzen. Dangled by Nazem Kadri. Back again for Cody Franzen. Franzen holding onto it. Here's Raymond. His shot blocked by Andrej Sekera. Getting to it is Morgan Riley. In deep for Mason Raymond. Separated from the puck momentarily by Sekera. Now they jockey along the boards. Radek Dvorak coming back for Carolina. It pops out, and it's dumped out by Manny Malhotra.
All right, another job down a man in this case, keeping it to the outside. Great battle going on in front between David Clarkson and Anton Hudobin. Probably not talking about that aforementioned Lego set.
Now just inside the line, dogging the puck for the Hurricanes, Jordan Staal, who has a shorthanded goal tonight. He took a little bit of a shove from Nazem Kadri, and now Dion Phaneuf. Kadri at the line. Stood up by Jordan Staal. Phaneuf says hello to him. Play comes to a halt.
He's the first star in this hockey game for me, no doubt about it. Not Phaneuf, but Jordan Staal with 3 points, including what would be the back-breaking goal. I mean, it's a Leaf power play to begin the third period. That has been a very good power play. I know, as you mentioned, nowhere near as good on the road. But you get a power play goal, it's 4-2. We've seen what momentum is and how quickly you build on it. And Jordan scores that beautiful shorthanded tally by stripping Phaneuf and then beating Reimer.
Anyway, slice it, they're number 5. They have struggled on the road, but still they have the skill and the goal scorers to be lethal with a power play if they can figure it out away from home. But they have a lot of other issues too, including a 5-on-5 game that has not been good here tonight. They will play in Washington tomorrow. That one deflects off the stick of Justin Falk and goes out of play. We believe lightning can strike twice. We believe in family traditions. We believe only one place can turn superstars into legends. Tickets on sale now at Daytona500.com.
Another reason this is such a big game. If Carolina, say, stumbles on home ice and then the Leafs lose against Washington, it's almost like a 4-point game with a team that you're chasing in the Metro Division. That's another reason this was a particular important one among 82.
That's right. Toronto 21-18 and 8, 46 points. Carolina 18-16 and 9, 45 coming in. Now, moving wide is Morgan Riley. Riley holding onto it off a stick. It deflects this way. Swept out of the zone by Semin for Drayson Bowman. See the time left of the power play as Bowman is given a shove by Morgan Riley, but he did a good job to just get it deep.
Yeah, I mean, Semin actually took a hit to get it up to Bowman to get the puck out, and then Drayson Bowman is able to deposit the puck where it needs to be.
Joffrey Lupul delays, lays it back. Moving to the outside is Mason Raymond. Out of the box is Belmore. Off Kadri. Raymond got it back. Here's Gleason. His shot stopped by Hudobin. Loose out in front, not out. Gunnarsson for Gleason. His bid again fought off by Anton Hudobin. Belmore steers it back out to center ice.
Another good clear from Lyles on the rebound off of the Gleason one-timer.
Toronto now up to 26 shots as it's rolled ahead and brought out by Ron Hainsey. 3:32 left in this third period. The front end of a back-to-back sequence for Carolina in Columbus tomorrow night. Kadri hits a hole. Jordan Staal on the back check takes a hit from Kadri. Raymond centers one off Hainsey out in front. Carolina escapes harm, and here they come. They go wide. Patrick Dwyer, his shot stopped and covered by James Reimer. Behind the goal, Dion Phaneuf, Zach Boychuk, and Mark Fraser moves in.
This is where Phaneuf maybe doesn't win the likability award throughout the NHL, because I don't think picking fellow Westerner Zach Boychuk would be a guy that is in his weight class when it comes to this type of activity.
Short-handed goal from Jordan Staal, who is having a night as we go down the stretch in Raleigh. A little overzealous. Maple Leaf captain Dion Phaneuf at back of the goal on Zach Boychuk. He leaves for roughing.
And you know, this is a captain that sees a team that wanted to bounce back tonight that just didn't do it. And now they'll move on to Washington. Even though they've accumulated points, it's been because of shootouts, their goaltending. I mean, they're in a really tough, even strength spot, and it's been happening for a significant period of time. And I'm sure Phaneuf knows that.
Their last regulation road win was October 30th. As it comes all the way back. They defeated Calgary. That's the last time Toronto has won in regulation on the road.
Every team deals with injuries. I think the injury to Dave Bolin is particularly important to them.
Yeah. Now comes back for John Michael Lyles. All the way across. Ian Murphy man the points. Carolina back to the power play. It's gloved down in the corner. Carried along the boards that time by Patrick Dwyer. So diligence from 39. Jordan Staal helping out. Fraser is there for Toronto. A shove on Dwyer. They continue that scrum. We get a great look at the battle along the boards here as they continue to jockey for that puck. Jordan turns away from Gleason, takes a slash. Gleason will go. Two-man advantage for Carolina.
Sure, Randy Carlisle's going to ask, where was this type of jam in the first period? And the Hurricanes may have been out-hit in the opening 20 minutes, but I thought they won it physically in the opening 20 minutes. They won it because they competed harder to get to the area right in front of James Reimer and did a pretty decent job of keeping pucks out of their slot area. Ooh, that is a definite slash from the former Hurricane on Jordan Staal. And for Gleason, he will look to move on and hopefully put together a heck of a second half, because tonight, there's no question it has been John Michael Lyles' night of the two traded players.
Carolina has scored 4 5-on-3 goals this season. Toronto has yielded 5. Jordan Staal wincing a bit on the bench. Skinner will take the face-off. Semin will join him along with Justin Falk. Elias Lindholm, the guy who has the puck, Andrej Sekera. They go point to point. Roll it inside. Skinner holding onto it. Worked across. Sekera. Now Semin. Trading places with Sekera. Here it comes. Tipped wide. The rebound. Reimer makes the save off of Jeff Skinner.
Sekera and Semin switching positions on the point. This was something the Hurricanes worked on actually the day before they went to Washington, when Lyles joined him the next morning from Toronto. And here up 5-1. A different look here. Lyles is on the bench.
Now Semin. His shot rockets high, loose this way. Taking hit Justin Falk. It deflects on a play off the stick of Jay McClement. The faceoff will stay put in the zone. 1:42 left. Carolina maintains the 5-on-3.
How about Skinner winning a couple of faceoffs? He wins one on one side, has a left shot. Lindholm wins one cleanly on the other. And Semin, I think in particular on these power plays in tonight's game, has done things in much more of an assertive, crisp fashion than he has on a lot of nights.
Off the draw. Semin again. To the outside and back. Lyles. Now Skinner. He'll address it. Lyles in control. He scored tonight. Skinner. So is he. Broken up by Cody Franson and dumped out.
That is a well-conceived play, as Skinner just about had the Semin one-timer from a grade A spot ready to go, and it was picked off in a nice fashion by Franson.
Elias Lindholm. One-timer. Goes wide. They score! It's Lucky Lindy on the rebound off the end wall. Elias Lindholm has scored, and Carolina has a 6-1 lead.
If somehow for the first time there's a World Junior Championship in Sweden in January, Lindholm's going to take the Concorde to get there. I mean, has he ever had a night? I mean, I'll tell you what, there he's... Actually, this is a give and go where he is able to deposit the puck back to Skinner, which I think takes great hockey sense. I think he had a net front presence from Jordan Staal in front of big James Reimer. Reimer not a great mover to begin with. And after setting up Skinner, Lindholm goes to the front of the net, quickly scores. And in the words of Frankie Valli, oh, what a night. Oh, they've come from Malmo.
They have all the way. 6-1 Carolina. 3 points for Lindholm. Now at back of the goal. Ron Hainsey under a minute left in this third period. A goal and 2 assists for Elias Lindholm in his return. Snapped along by Gleason. Fought for at the top of your screen. Gleason out of the box now. Will clear it all the way back down. The Hurricanes will win their 19th game of the season. They will win their 10th here at home. They will go to 47 points and continue the upward climb in the Metropolitan Division, and this will be their 5th win in succession. 25 seconds left in this third period. The front end of a back-to-backer. Tomorrow night, the Hurricanes are at Columbus. Ruutu sends it back for Ron Hainsey. Tuomo Ruutu, conventional 5-on-4. His shot patted down by Reimer. 10 seconds left. Out of the corner, Carter Ashton in control. Wheeled all the way back out through center ice and all the way back, and that should just about do it. Total team effort from start to the absolute finish. They survive the polar vortex. They come home and defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-1.
Second half of the year, the Hurricanes were going to have to be a better home team. By my rough count, on New Year's Eve, starting with the third period against Montreal and now wins over Nashville and Toronto, they have outscored their opponents, the Canadiens, the Predators, and the Maple Leafs on home ice 12-2 in that span. 12-2. That's a home ice advantage. Jordan Staal led the way. Depth down the middle, again with no Eric Staal. Elias Lindholm, Banner Knight, Zach Boychuk, and John Michael Lyles delivered a heck of a message to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the only time he'll face them this year.
The Canes win tonight. You Caniacs win. Go to papajohns.com tomorrow. Enter the promo code Caniac. Get 50% off your menu-priced online order at participating restaurants. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. 6-1 is your final score tonight as they announce the 3 stars here. Zach Boychuk had a solid game on the 4th line for the Hurricanes. Elias Lindholm returning from the World Junior Tournament in his native land.